Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. At the very outset, let me profusely thank the Honorable Member from Nongkrem, Arden Basamit, for having tabled this very important discussion under the relevant rules of the procedure and conduct of business in the August House. Now, I would like to be brief, but would like to just be focused on few pertinent points. We are all concerned about the situation, which should be considered as a very grave situation, particularly pertaining to the quality education required at the primary level. The time when the learning comes naturally to the tiny tots, to the children. That's the time. And the responsibility that we assume upon ourselves to ensure that while we are preparing our children to enable them to equip themselves with the kind of wherewithal to be part of this competitive world, where the aspirations and expectations of the generation next is bound to change and unfold into a different dimension. Therefore, to equip them to create that enabling environment in the schools. And I think it is more relevant for us to think from the perspective that many of our children get the teaching only in the school, not at home. Because majority of the children are not privileged to have parents who can give them that hand-holding, further amplification of their learning endeavor at home. Since we do have majority of the current generation who are first-time schoolgoers, many of them. And many of them may be, okay, second-generation schoolgoer, but then parents are not in a position to give that right kind of hand-holding. So how important it is to ensure that we get the best gurus. So there was a time when everybody was so eager to learn martial arts, kung fu, karate, taekwondo. We didn't have gurus, So our boys from Garo Hills would always, with patience, wait for the time when their parents will send them to pursue their studies in Shillong. The moment they come to Shillong, most of my friends, when I saw, they don't line up to get admission in the schools and colleges where they were intended to get admission first. They went for exploring the centers where we were given training, rather where we had the schools. Like we had the karate school in Lamukra, Gitaraj used to run that. Then Luthre, the taekwondo, and so on and so forth. So gurus, because there were no gurus in Garo Hills that time. But after they learned, they became gurus, and now you have lots of such centers established in different parts of the state. Now we're talking about gurus, so that our gurus will make further gurus. So teaching is an art. It doesn't come naturally. One may be brilliant in studies, but then he may not be a good teacher, because teaching is definitely an art. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, you yourself know it very, very well. You have molded, shaped many of the careers of the young ones. I have been privileged to be born in the family of teachers. Both my parents were teachers, who had the privilege to not only teach me as my teachers, but also had the privilege to be the teachers of some of the tallest readers of the state, like Mukul Sangma. I remember how in the condolence message, our Honorable Chief Minister, when sent the condolence message to the family after we lost our father, how eloquently he reminded us of how Mukul Sangma, the father of our Chief Minister, Honorable Chief Minister, also was privileged to be a student. So we have seen them. I've seen how people used to run after the best of the teachers. I'm proud to say that. Because even after my parents retired, the people from Ampati area used to still go to my dad requesting him, even after we children suggested and appealed to dad that, Daddy, you are already in the aging stage. Please don't further go beyond what your physics can allow you. But then, because of the prevailing situation then, he said yes. And we had this system of board school education, board examinations. I think we need to revive that again. Because if we revive it, then we actually push the schools to demonstrate how good they are and how honest and how hardworking the teachers are to really equip their children to be better than others. I remember when we were students, this whole board examination system allowed us to really look at as to which schools are doing the best. Now we have this same system at the class 10 level, at the class 12 level. So we know which schools are doing well. We know about some of the schools who are doing so brilliantly well in Garo Hills. People don't have to look at only Shillong. St. Anthony's, St. Edmunds, St. Mary's, Lady Kim, all these colleges were the only one those years where, the students from across Northeast used to gravitate because of the quality education. Today we are privileged that we have similar kind of educational institutions which are providing that kind of quality education. But we are talking about the schools which are so-called government schools. Why is it that in the government schools, parents are not willing to send their children? It's a reality. That's the truth. Because the trust, the confidence, because every parent wants to see that their children are sent to the school where they'll be privileged to have the best education, where teachers are found to be really honest and committed towards giving that effect to give fruition to their ambition. Therefore, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I think it is only appropriate these issues are discussed in this August House. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I looked at the very important aspects of this education sector where we must get the people who desire to become teachers by choice, not by default. There are two categories of teachers. One is who intend to become a teacher, who has their natural ambition to become a teacher. But there are who want to be a teacher because they want to get a job. Now, whom we want to really take care of? If we take care of the job seekers just for the sake of fulfilling their desire to become a government employee, we may end up really diluting the main focus. Our attention gets distracted towards something else. Therefore, as politicians, I think we all will agree that we are vulnerable. We are vulnerable because people expect that we can utilize our position, power, authority to help them get jobs. At a time when jobs are scarce, that is the reality. We all are confronted by this challenge. But what is our job? Our job is to see that we are served by the best. So to get the best, the system takes care. Allow that system to be tempered, we will fail in this objective. And this is exactly what has been very appropriately articulated, and medias have been carrying these sad stories over and over and over and over again. Therefore, I remember when we had a serious problem of getting teachers who were already trained to be teachers. Like you had the BEd, then you had the overall institutions which are established in different districts, the diet centers, providing the prerequisite courses for the to-be teachers, young men and women who have the ambition to belong to the teaching fraternity. So, by choice they go. By the choice that they want to get these qualifications before they apply for job indicates their intent. And many were not able to afford. Therefore, we came up with a scholarship program, 5,000 rupees per month, to all the students who took admission in the diet centers across the state. It helped many, which I don't know how can, probably if we count from the year we initiated till now, I think we'll know the numbers. They have stopped it now because all these students who were recipient of the first year's so-called assistance in the form of fixed amount of 5,000 for 10 months, 50,000, this has been stopped because a letter has gone from the authorities concerned of the authorities at the government to the directorate and subsequently to the principals saying that this particular scholarship will not be available to the students anymore because the finance department has regretted further extension of this support. I don't know who has decided this. And it's almost like, telling the students, go ahead, we are there. We're giving you the scholarship. 1 year they have received, the second year, and since this was in anticipation, expected amount to be accrued to the accounts of the students, they must have borrowed, landed up in debt. Who is going to take care? Therefore, these are few things which reflect our, distraction from the focus. I think we are being distracted by somebody who is around us, the people in authority. But I think as policymakers, the leaders who belong to the political class, we need to understand the complexities of this problem. Bureaucracy will do their job. They're more in preparing their own respective profiles. I have seen for years together. Sometimes the initiatives which is offshoot of an idea of a sincere intent of politicians, they will well document it as though it was they who have authored the projects. Then they will very efficiently utilize it to get the best posting in different ministries under the government of India. I have seen it. This is what bureaucracies are all about, with no intent to offend them, but this is the fact. I have seen many of the bureaucrats doing that. Therefore, as policymakers, we must understand where we stand and how we are supposed to be more sensitive towards the need of the people. Bureaucrats are supposed to implement what we tell them, not that they should tell us, because we are the one who promise. Now, this whole sanctity of the institutions that we create for recruitment of the prospective employees. Now, particularly, we are talking about education department. Now, if the process is tempered, it will definitely have its bearing for a long, long time to go. Therefore, I think it is in the fitness of things to correct things. I think we need to recognize the problem. If we don't want to recognize the problem, then we will not be solving the problem. Because the denial of recognizing the problem of issue ultimately will guide the decision subsequently. Therefore, there will be no solution. Therefore, willingness, sincerity, which emanates from inside, not influenced by outside, will have to be the main force helping us to take a call when these type of crucial issues are brought, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Therefore, my submission is that whenever there are instances of such doubt in the integrity of the whole recruitment process, the government and the authority must be prompt in ensuring that we verify such allegations, we verify such doubts, clear the doubts so that people will have trust in the system, trust in all of us, trust in our decisions. Therefore, my appeal through you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, is that let us really take cognizance of issues. What we articulate in the August House during this short period of session is nothing. the government is in a position to be able to have all the inputs available. There's one particular story which has gone viral in social media. Unfortunately, things which should not happen is happening. Because one of our honorable members who happens to be in the Treasury bench has apparently, in his effort to convince people to support the political party, have gone out of the way to say that how I have appointed many teachers and how I can help you. You know, go through it. We need to be counseled sometimes. There are things which ultimately has a result of imprinting a false perception in the minds of the people, thereby creating problem for all of us. Now, people will have the false perception that it's the politicians who are in power who can actually manipulate the system, so they will come, they will approach. And when we try to tell them what is right, then we will be seen as not willing to help them. And we will be at the receiving end politically. That's why it doesn't help us. It doesn't help any of us. Therefore, let the system take care of itself. Let people have faith in us. Let us not create a situation where people will have the sense of perversion of justice. Because perversion of justice, if perceived, does not augur well for the sustainability of democracy. Therefore, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, through you, I further just amplified whatever very pertinent points were raised by the Honorable Mover and other members of this August House, and I hope that the government will take cognizance of these issues and take all measures necessary to undo the wrong and to ensure correct approach and instill confidence and trust in the whole system. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you.